Hey, gang, and welcome as we time travel back to the year of J. Blu-ray Collector 1971, Harvey's birth year, 1971. And I gotta say, of all the ones that we've done so far of our birth years, this is the best year for film. There are a lot of movies that could have been on any list, and people have had some different things, and I've actually added a few from these lists, and there are a few that I didn't care for that are on here. I'm going to go on record as saying I'm not the biggest fan of the French Connection. Maybe I need to review, but it's not on my list. How about that? There was a movie that Jay talked about scaring Sarah or something like that. I immediately put it on my Amazon wish list. I can't remember the full name of it now, but I put it on there as soon as I heard, which I do a lot with you guys when you talk about movies, especially, what I've bought things, which I've never done in the past with anybody, but I have a lot more in common with you five, so there is a running wish list that compiles a lot of stuff that you guys show off. So with that, let's get on to the real topic at hand, and that's 1971. These are in no order at all, by the way. If I had to pick, let me look at these. If I had to pick my favorite from this year, well, I'll tell you when we get there. Let's start off with Play Misty for Me with Clint Eastwood. This is his directorial debut. It is a thriller type film. Very, very well done. Not only as a director, but as an actor, as always. Shows his acting chops off without having to wear a cowboy hat. And he does a lot of those, and there are a lot of good movies that come out without the cowboy hat. So, yeah, Play Misty for Me, very good film. Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, excellent fucking movie. Is it Gene Wilder's best? I'm gonna go with no. I gotta go with, Frankenstein, but it is a very delightful, very heartwarming, funny, tragic film. That's everything about. Can't go any farther than that. Omega Man with Charlton Heston, of course, been remade a couple times. My favorite is Vincent Price's version, Last Man on Earth. Will Smith's version is Will Smith's version. But Omega Man is a really strong version of this film and very, very enjoyable. Willard with the beautiful Sandra Locke. I have loved her in everything. She is not only she passed away either last year or the year before. Such a great actress, plus such a just a beautiful person to begin with. Has that natural beauty of a woman, and can't think of too much that I've seen that I've not liked her in. She's very young in this one. Basically, Willard, we all know, is Willard the Rat King. Very, I definitely titled a horror movie, and if you don't like rats or mice, don't watch it. But otherwise, it is a really good film. Panic in Needle Park, Al Pacino, Kitty Wynn. Very sad drama about a lot of different things, mostly addiction and what addiction does to people and groups of people, families, things like that. I live in that world. That is where I work in corrections and specialize in drug addicts and things like that. It is a real fucking thing. And this movie is, I know, from 1971, but it is what it is. My favorite from this year, Escape from the Planet of the Apes. It is my second favorite film, but they are so damn close. It's hard to pick second, third, and fourth. Fifth, of course, is Return. I think they just went way too fast on this, and just sometimes you just wonder when people make films and make sequels, or what the fuck are you thinking? What? And luckily, it was able to make, three more movies, very good movies. 3, 4, and 5 are very hard to pick between. I do like this with the addition of our main characters going to current time. I really enjoy everything that happens, even though it's tragic and there's so much that does happen in this world. It is my favorite. Although Conquest is fucking phenomenal. So, Clockwork Orange. It's hard to say that Clockwork Orange is a favorite film. It's really odd. It's like saying Schindler's List is one of your favorite films. I'm not comparing the two whatsoever. Just the type of film that you. Wow, can I say this is one of my favorites? But yeah, it's the story, it's the presentation, it's the everything about it. Schindler's List is just powerful. It's of course tragic, but it is such a well-told story with love. Being Steven Spielberg and his thoughts, love, tradition, all that with that movie made it so damn good. This one does its job. You hate everybody. It's a very disturbing movie. It's supposed to be disturbing. It is a very good movie. I had the privilege of meeting Malcolm McDowell. Let's see, my son was pretty young. It was at Scarefest. It was the same year that I met. Fuck, who was it? The funny thing was, he wasn't the biggest draw for me. He was definitely the biggest name there. Oh, I met a few people from The Fog, which I absolutely love. But he was such a such a nice guy. I expected him. I don't know why I expected him to be a pompous ass. Maybe because he is who he is and his fame and all of that. And he's at a horror convention. He's at a convention to begin with. But I was totally wrong. He was the nicest guy. He was so nice to my son. He's, of course, I'm not even going to try the accent, but when I handed him my copy of Clockwork Orange, he, was talking directly to my son. I think he shook my hand and then that was it for me. It was all my son. So Malcolm McDowell met my son that day instead of me. And he was making, oh, surely your father has not shown you this. Tell me you haven't seen this. And he said, no, I remember, I know you from Bolt. Dad told me you were in Bolt. So he's a voice in Bolt. And he was really thrilled by that. And of course, we got our picture taken and just had a lovely little conversation. But Gannon had more of a conversation than I did. And that's really cool. There's been a few celebrities that I've met at these horror conventions that have really, really paid attention to him, and that made me feel really good to bring him into that and bring film more into his life. A couple are Rowdy Roddy Piper. We met at a horror convention, and he really, really caught on to him. That of all of the celebrities that I have met at these horror conventions that I've done for the past, how many ever years, a lot of years, I have to say that Piper was probably the friendliest, nicest. He had a line that went forever, and he did not give a shit. He was going to stand there all damn day if he had to, but he took time out of his schedule to talk to everybody, and he made a big deal out of Gannon, and I thought it was fabulous. Another is, I'm going to get his name wrong, Charles White, I think, played Jason in part 4. He really, even though and I think he's passed since, even though he obviously was older and he couldn't hear, he thought Gannon's name was Cannon. He actually he gave him a free autograph. He told him to pick a picture, and he was a stunt man and double on a John Wayne film, which I have no idea which one it was, and he picked that one because it had cowboys on it. And I think he was maybe 7, 8 years old, and it does say to Cannon instead of Gannon, but still a remarkable story to share. But anyway, Malcolm McDowell was the big one, and Clockwork Orange. Sorry to get off on that tangent. Next, Dustin Hoffman's Straw Dogs. Very, very hard to watch for some people. I understand these home invasion and just the material in general in this is hard to watch. For myself, that's one of those films where I talk about the atmosphere and anxiety that it puts forth is that type of feeling that I'm looking for. Normally anxiety, which I do have a lot of it, isn't something I want, but that is a version of it that makes me feel uncomfortable and is the horror fan in me. And it does a great job. Everything about that movie does a great job. I've never seen the remake. I don't plan on seeing the remake. There's always, you can't ever say never, but this movie is fantastic. Of course, last but not least, Dirty Harry. You can't have a list from 1971 without Dirty Harry. And I don't know if these lists that I looked up for films that come in 1971, because I don't have Jay's fucking memory and can't remember that, this movie came out on December 3rd, 1971 at exactly 7:45 in the afternoon, or in the evening. I don't have that, so I have to look these up. If I'm right, I seen 3 Eastwood movies in 1971. Play Misty for Me, The Beguiled, and Dirty Harry. And if that's true, damn. I know they definitely weren't all filmed in the same year, but coming out in the box office. 3 really good films, and Dirty Harry, the entire series is amazing, but this first one is just absolutely fantastic. And looking at these, I noticed that there is an extra one on my list, is a Criterion that is on my Criterion wish list, and that's Walkabout. I've read so many good things about it, and it's just one that I'm really interested in watching, so maybe someday that will be purchased. I know they have the DVD version on Amazon for like $20, so who knows, maybe someday. But the Who Scared Sarah Whenever with What Whoever is on my list, and that's it. Good birth year, Harry. That is a fantastic year. I was really pleased to see so many great films. I'm not sure who's next. I'm not even sure who the fuck we've done yet. I think Bob and Mike are the only 2 left, and trying to find 10 movies from the silent era will also be difficult. They didn't make, there weren't a lot of films made in the 1800s, but I'm sure we'll find enough. So until next time, thanks for watching, and later.